Hey there, friends, and welcome to episode 214 of Just the Zoo of Us. This week, I am joined by a special guest, Bachelor star turned science communicator, here to share love and curiosity for the animal world. In this episode, we discuss pigs and their achievements in some surprising endeavors, from digging up truffles and thriving in the wilderness to playing video games and basking on the beaches of the Bahamas. Just the Zoo of Us presents Pigs with Kendall Long. Hi there, everybody. It's Ellen Weatherford with Just the Zoo of Us, your favorite animal review podcast. I'm very excited this week to be bringing y'all a new friend. This is Kendall Long. Say hi, Kendall.
Hello, everyone. How are you?
I'm so excited to be talking to you. Kendall, really quick, what are your pronouns?
My pronouns are she, her.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to talk about this animal because it's one that is in my heart and in my mind all the time, but I'm really excited to get into this animal. But before we get into our animal, let's talk about you. Kendall, what got you into the work that you do communicating animal science?
I've always had a big passion for animals, documentaries, and all of that growing up. I constantly would read books on entomology, zoology, botany, and so it just kind of started as a curiosity. I collected taxidermy when I was younger as well, so I would go to natural history museums and see all these animals up close, and then find specimens, whether it be at garage sales, and then take them home and research about them. So I've always been surrounding myself with animal type things since I was younger.
Did you have a favorite piece that you collected?
I have a piece called Pegos Bill, and it was a boar's head, actually. And it was the first piece of taxidermy I ever got, and I got it at this flea market, and it was super dirty. One of the teeth was missing. And
a fixer-upper.
A fixer-upper, definitely. A lot of my taxidermy is, because it's always, secondhand. And so, yeah, that was the first piece that I got, and I just remember being so proud because I actually haggled the guy down to, $50. And so
that in its own is an accomplishment. I've never in my life had the confidence to haggle with anybody on anything. I'm just that's the price it is. Got it.
That's probably the only thing I've ever been able to haggle down in my entire life. Because
that's your trophy.
Yeah, it is. I'm because I literally had no other money, and that's the only reason why it probably worked, because he's oh yeah, she actually doesn't have more. She's not really haggling. She's just trying to get this beat up piece of taxidermy that no one else will probably get. So
I've always been kind of neutral towards taxidermy until I also went to a museum. It was a biodiversity museum where they had academic taxidermy, where they had specimens of extinct animals taxidermied in this museum so that scientists could still study them. I thought that was so cool.
It is. You learn so much through going to natural history museums. There's this natural history museum in Germany that I just went to, and they had such an extensive collection, and so many of the things that you see, you'll never be able to see in real life. And when taxidermy was first brought into people's lives, it was during a time when they never saw a lion, or they'd never seen a zebra before. But it's always sad to source that taxidermy. So that's why I do like to get secondhand taxidermy, because,
It seems like it slots really well into morbid child curiosity. Were you maybe also a Pompeii kid or a Titanic kid, perhaps?
I've heard of those things, but no, I've never really gone to that level. It's always been about collecting animal skulls that I'd find on hikes, or one time I collected a dead snake and I put it in a shoebox, and these maggots were inside of it, and it exploded. It was just everywhere. So
glamorous youth activities.
Exactly.
You were that girl.
Yeah, I was that weird girl. My parents initially were oh no, but then they eventually encouraged me, and they're okay, she's fine. She's mentally stable. So
we can work with this. We can work with this.
Yeah. And they bought me some taxidermy too, so
Oh, we love supportive family. Now, you mentioned that you just saw a really cool museum in Germany. You've been doing a lot of traveling recently, doing science communication in different parts of the world. I know you just got back from Madagascar, which is a huge trip. I wanted to ask you a little bit about, what got you into these travels for science and what are some highlights?
Yeah, I mean, living in Germany, I'm a lot closer to so many different areas, so it's made traveling a lot easier. But with Madagascar, I was working with another Bachelor star, Blake Moynes, and he does a lot with conservation, animal conservation. And he kind of reached out to me, and he's like, "Hey, I know you're really excited about animals and all of this. Do you want to go on a conservation trip, a lemur conservation trip to Madagascar?" So that's initially how that trip got started, and it was almost 3 weeks. We were trekking through the jungles of Madagascar, and I am a huge entomology nerd. And of course, I was so excited seeing all the lemurs, but when I saw some of the bugs that were in the jungles, I was so excited. There's this one bug called the flatted leaf bug, and the nymph of it, the honeydew that the nymph produces feeds mouse lemurs. So when I saw that,
that's so cute.
It's so cute. And there's certain ants that live inside the stems of plants, and giant roly-polies and huge comet moths. I mean, so yeah, I really nerded out on all the bugs when I was there. So
did you see a giraffe-necked weevil? Because that's
Yes.
You did? No way!
I'm so happy you said that. I did. Okay, so I saw male and female. I saw it on 2 separate occasions, but one occasion there was a male with a really super long neck, because they have the really long necks, and the female with a shorter neck. I was really hoping I was going to be able to see a jousting between the 2 males, but I never saw that happen, unfortunately.
That is so cool. And yeah, the mammals do get the spotlight a lot when we're talking about all the beautiful wildlife that lives in places like Madagascar, especially with Madagascar being an island. You get really funky, animals that have been geographically isolated for hundreds of thousands of years. So they get really bizarre adaptations you don't see anywhere else in the world. But yeah, people are usually looking for the lemurs and the fossa and the more charismatic mammals and stuff. But you gotta look down. Look down at your feet. Look for the little guys, because there's stuff going on down there.
There is, and it's just so crazy to see huge ant colonies that are growing on the side of trees. And the really cool thing about Madagascar, it's so incredibly biodiverse. There's just so much going on everywhere, and a lot of the species you see, like you said, you'll never see anywhere else. When I was looking at things, I was like, this probably only exists on this island. It's what made the trip really special.
Probably a lot of cool lizards too. I know that's a lizard hotspot.
Oh yeah, we also saw a baby boa, actually.
Wow.
So our guides found the baby boa on the side of a road, and so we were helping to relocate it inside the forest, and that was really cool because its body was just so cold and strong. Ugh, it was just yeah, so many cool reptiles. Also a lot of geckos that were moss mimicking leaf-tailed geckos. Which blended so well into the tree that you couldn't even tell it was there right in front of your face. But somehow our guide saw it from our moving car. I was like, how can you see this gecko that is looks like it's part of the tree? I don't know. My mind is blown on many separate occasions. So
I wonder if it's the sort of thing where they're like, yeah, that's Jeff. He's always there. That's his tree.
Yeah. We just painted a gecko on the tree.
And they're going by in the moving car. So they're like, well, you're not going to know.
Exactly. It doesn't move at all, but it's still, But also, we saw a lot of chameleons too, which were really cool.
Oh my gosh.
We did some night hikes, which it's easier to spot chameleons at night because when they don't have the sun to reflect on their skin, the crystals in their skin, they are white. So you can kind of spot them easier. And when you shine your flashlight on them, they start absorbing the color again. So you can see them get all their cool colors.
That's really neat. Like a ghost chameleon.
Yeah.
That's when the ghosts come out.
Exactly.
Spooky.
Spooky hike.
Well, okay, you also mentioned that Blake, who you went on this trip with, was also a Bachelor star. Something we hadn't mentioned yet is that people listening may recognize you from your time on The Bachelor. I have to admit this is a little bit of a media blind spot for me, but this was something that kind of let you spread your love for animals to the world. Did you want to talk about that experience a little bit?
Yeah. I mean, basically being on The Bachelor was laughing, crying, kissing, all the things. So it was, I haven't watched the show in actually a while since I've been on it. But yeah, it was a really cool experience. I met a lot of really interesting people through it, especially Blake recently. And Samantha, who's also someone who was on a recent season that they're on for Bachelor in Paradise. It's another show that I was on. But yeah, since then, I really kind of decided to use my platform for things I was passionate about. And it was difficult for me to put my social media towards, I don't know, the more of the traditional kind of thing that you'd expect. So I just started talking about animals and things that I was researching at the time and reading about, and it's turned into something that's been really exciting. So yeah, doing a podcast with it, continue to do videos on TikTok and Instagram. So I've really enjoyed doing that.
When we were talking a minute ago before I hit record, I described it as a Trojan horse, which may be for a lot of people, they're like, oh, I know Kendall from The Bachelor. I'm going to go follow you on TikTok. Oh, it's moths.
Yeah. What is she doing talking about all these bugs and all these weird animals? She has a weird obsession with pigeons and,
Pigeons are obsession worthy, though. I will say, if you're going to get obsessed with an animal, pigeons are a great one.
Yeah, they're just such funky creatures, and they're as diverse as dog breeds. I mean, I don't know. I could talk all day about pigeons, so.
Yes, I could too. But I got to pump the brakes because we're not talking about pigeons today. We are talking about, which is also an animal that, spends a lot of time around humans, where we have a long, extensive history living in a close relationship with these animals. Kendall, I would love to know what your relationship to pigs is like. Have you been around pigs a lot? Did you spend a lot of time around pigs growing up?
Not really. I think I've just always had this fascination with owning a pig ever since I was really little, because for my brother's birthday, he had a petting zoo, and there was a pot-bellied pig there, a baby pot-bellied pig. And I was so obsessed with this pig that I would carry it around everywhere. I would let other kids pet it. I was that annoying kid at the petting zoo that was this is basically my pot-bellied pig. I got so obsessed with it that I tried to hide it in my room when they were packing up and ready to go for the day, the petting zoo. And so
I think they're gonna notice.
Yeah, they did notice, unfortunately. And so I remember him coming up in my room with my mom, and they're like, do you have something? And I'm like, maybe. And so he's like, you know what? You can buy this pig if you want. And I was like, yes. My mom's like, no. So unfortunately, we didn't buy the pig. But maybe fortunately, because there really is no such thing as a teacup pig or a pig that stays small forever. So that's really where it began, my obsession with pigs. And of course, I was in the teacup pig craze. And I just think they're just such fascinating creatures because they are one of those species that has grown alongside with humans. And I think some people tend to not really appreciate those kinds of animals as much as they should. I mean, it's so impressive when any species can live side by side with humans for as long as pigs have.
And thrive, right? And be doing well. You've got the domestic pigs, right? The pigs you're going to see in a farm, you're going to see them in a barnyard. But then you've got the rogue pigs that have struck out a life on their own on the open trail. Is this the same pig that's living out in the wild?
Yeah, pigs are very adaptable to whatever environment you put them in. And initially, the first pigs that were brought to America were domesticated pigs. And from then, they just kind of spread and thrived in the American environment. And they do that in so many other countries. And I went to a pig museum in Germany.
A pig museum?
Yeah. And of course I had to go. It was one of the first places I went to visit when I moved to Germany.
I'm booking my ticket as we speak. Here I come, pig museum.
Please, it's very much worth it. And they talk about both the domesticated pig and the wild pigs that are a result from pigs just kind of escaping, because they're amazing escape artists.
Oh yeah, and then once they get out there, they're like, I'm home, baby. This is great. I love this. You mentioned that they're escape artists. I have a little story with pigs. A couple years ago, when my youngest son was a newborn, my husband and I were in our living room just watching TV late at night. And we lived in a very suburban neighborhood. All the houses are really close together, manicured, HOA sort of looking neighborhood. And we hear outside of one of our windows in our living room, we hear, and we're like, surely that wasn't what I think it was. That cannot be. And so we looked outside, and there's 6 fully grown adult pigs just wandering down our street through our neighborhood. And we look around and like all of our neighbors have come out of their houses because they're like, there's pigs here. But they don't. Everyone's looking around like, whose pigs are these? How did they get here? What happened?
Wait,
and
hide
those
them in your room.
grab one. Come on, bring it inside. The HOA would be so mad. So these pigs are just walking through, and I'm dying laughing. This is easily the funniest thing that's ever happened to me. We're watching these pigs just like walk through. They're like rooting through people's, like, you know how like people take really good care of like landscaping their front yards and stuff like that. People have like flower bushes and gardens in their front yard, and these pigs are just like rooting through them, like tearing them up and like hoofing through them and stuff, leaving footprints on people's driveways and the sidewalks and stuff like that. And I'm, of course, like, go pigs, go anarchy.
Spread through the town.
So I took so many pictures of these little pigs rooting through, and it was Christmas time, so there were Christmas lights everywhere, which was really funny. And apparently they had escaped from a very close by, like somebody's home that they had a farm in, and were just taking themselves for a little walk. And I guess in the middle of the night, that guy had to rev his tractor up and bring it down into our neighborhood and load all the pigs up.
So it's kind of like they were going on a little tour of the neighborhood.
They were on tour, yes. So just like you said, escape artists and totally happy.
Yeah, and that's what they do. I mean, they get into like agricultural areas and they just like kind of devastate all the plants there just because they're hungry. You know, they just want to eat. So there is a big issue with pigs in a lot of areas, especially like America now, where they will cause a lot of damage agriculturally. So
yeah, you can run into that a lot in the Southeast. You got feral hogs, and them little dudes are no joke, because if you run into one of those in the middle of the night, it is game over. There is nothing you can do to that pig.
No, they're hardy animals. They are.
Very much so. And if this is your first time ever listening to this podcast, our whole deal is that we rate animals out of 10. The first category we rate them on is effectiveness. This is physical adaptations, things built into the animal's body that allow it to survive and thrive, find their food, not become food themselves, things like that. What do you give pigs out of 10 for effectiveness?
I don't want to be too biased on this, you know?
You can totally be biased. Be as biased as you want.
Yeah, they gotta be around like a 7 or 8, only because they thrive. I mean, and they can eat pretty much anything. Like, they used to use pigs as latrines back in the day.
That's rude.
Yeah, I know. It sounds...
Don't do that.
Gross. It sounds disgusting, but like, that is how hardy they are at adapting to things. They can eat like table scraps and things in latrines that you normally would not know what to do with. So because of that, I have to put them pretty high up there. And I think weather-wise, they can kind of adapt to like most different climates, plants, and like from forests to drier areas. I mean, I think they're pretty adaptable.
That's true, because, you know, the United States is a huge continent-spanning country that covers a lot of different biomes. You've got forests, you've got mountains, you've got deserts, and, you know, straight-up rainforests. And, like, the pigs are like, it's all good, baby. This all looks good to me.
Yeah, and they have a great sense of smell, too. So they can, like, forage for things like no one's business. I mean, they're the most successful truffle hunters, more successful than dogs, but they ended up kind of ruining the truffles under the ground, so they couldn't kind of grow anymore. So they're not allowed to be used as truffle hunters anymore, but they were the best at locating them.
Now, I was wondering about this. What is with, because there is like an association between like pigs and truffles, right? And I'm not a truffle, I don't like mushrooms. I'm not a big like fan of the fungal flavor profile, so I don't really mess with truffles, but I have heard that like pigs are used to like find them.
Yeah, they used to think that because there's a certain hormone that the males excrete called androstenol that make the females are really into that certain smell, because that certain pheromone is also found in truffles. They thought that's the reason why they could find truffles that much more, but it ended up actually being a different chemical, not androstenol. So, yeah, that was almost like too perfect of a story.
I hate it when facts ruin the drama.
No. I was like, it's like the female pigs are trying to find lovers, but they actually find truffles. And they're like, well, this is also delicious, so why not eat this as well?
That's your consolation prize.
Exactly. But I think they could smell like a lot better than most dogs as well. So
that makes sense. They've got the flared like shape of the nose. It's very aardvark like. But you know what always surprises me when I look at a pig is how like dainty their little hooves are.
Yeah. They're like
you know what I mean?
So delicately on the ground. Like little tiny ballerinas, the ballerinas of the animal world.
You expect like a big like tank like animal, right? That's like big and hefty and bulky, and you expect them to have these big like, I don't know, rhino hooves or something like that, and they're just nope. Just little tiptoes.
That's how they can sneak around without being found.
But also, ecologically, we run into a problem when we do have pigs getting into an area where they're not, like, native to, is because, like, there's very few predators that can take one down. Because this is a little tank of a creature that's running around out there, and if like the natural predators of that area aren't big enough, like they haven't adapted alongside a pig, they'd be like, I can't do anything with this.
And they're pretty vicious too. I mean, I think this isn't necessarily a pig, but I saw a wild hog one time being chased by a cheetah in a video, and the cheetah like looked at the pig and was like, oh, what the heck are you? And kind of ran away. From the boar. So I think like they're a lot more intimidating. The wild ones have like tusks and they're just like solid creatures. So they don't really have a lot of predators besides probably humans, which is we are the ones that are responsible for bringing them to other areas to be like a source of meat for us when we kind of like spread to different colonies and stuff like that. So
right. We don't talk about a lot of domesticated animals on this show, but something that is interesting that you can see is how when you have pigs that like either become feral or are just like still living in the wild, you can really see what features came about because humans like wanted pigs to be a certain way, right? Because like we wanted them to be better for us to eat. We wanted them to be fatter. We wanted them to be bulkier. We wanted them to like be better for like our consumption, which is, I think that's an interesting, like when you can compare them to like the way that they just are naturally.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I mean, I think the domesticated pigs can get pretty dang huge. I think during the teacup pig craze, that was something that a lot of people found out, where they were expecting to have like this little mini pig that was bred to be small, and it would end up being around like 400, 600 pounds.
And that's still small for a pig, but it's not what you think it's going to be.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not what you think it's going to be, but it's definitely not like a lap dog, you know? It's
yeah, people are expecting Yorkie, and then, nope, that's not what you're getting. I'm so sorry. This is a livestock in your house.
Yeah, I always have to think, I'm like, I wonder how big that pot-bellied pig that I wanted when I was a kid, I wonder how big that pig got.
A lot of times they'll like, people especially who want to like market pigs or something like that, like who want to like market them to sell as pets, they'll show you them when they're a baby, right? They'll be like, look, this is definitely as big as this pig's ever gonna get when they're like a couple months old, right?
And these are the parents, and they're like these like, you know, little juvenile pigs that look just slightly bigger.
Yeah, they're like, these are the parents 10 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. We don't know where they are now. They were sold.
Just a massive pig catfishing operation.
Exactly.
It's like, oh, did you use an old photo?
most likely.
Hey there, we're going to take a quick break to hear from a couple of our friends on the Maximum Fun Network. When we get back, we are talking ingenuity and aesthetics for pigs, so stick around.
Hey, Sydney, you're a physician and the co-host of Sawbones, a marital tour of misguided medicine, right?
That's true, Justin.
Is it true that our medical history podcast is just as good as a visit to your primary care physician?
No, Justin, that is absolutely not true. However, our podcast is funny and interesting and a great way to learn about the medical misdeeds of the past, as well as some current, not-so-legit healthcare fads.
So you're saying that by listening to our podcast, people will feel better?
Sure.
And isn't that the same reason that you go to the doctor?
Well, you could say that, but...
And our podcast is free?
Yes, it is free.
You heard it here first, folks. Sawbones, marital tour of misguided medicine right here on Maximum Fun, just as good as going to the doctor.
No. Still not just as good as going to the doctor, but pretty good.
It's up there.
What is up, people of the world? Do you have an argument that you keep having with your friends and you just can't seem to settle it? And you're sitting there arguing about whether it's Star Trek or Star Wars, or you can't decide what is the best nut, or can't agree on what is the best cheese.
Stop doing that. Listen to We Got This with Mark and Hal, only on Max Fun.
Your topics asked and answered objectively, definitively, for all time.
So don't worry, everybody. We got this.
We got this.
Something that you mentioned is that pigs are really good, have been used for finding things. They have an excellent sense of smell, comparable or in excess of like the smell of dogs, which something that I often think about when I think about pigs is their intelligence. What's going on in that big, beautiful noggin? So for us, the next category that we rate animals on is ingenuity. This is behavioral adaptations, things they actually do with their body to solve problems that they face, get out of trouble if they need to, things like that. What do you give pigs out of 10 for ingenuity?
Pigs are incredibly smart. I mean, studies show that they could be as smart as like a 3-year-old. So I want to say maybe around a 7. They don't have thumbs, maybe 6. The opposable thumb is really something that can get them up there.
Really dragging them down.
Exactly. If they had that, they would have everything, and maybe we'd be taken over by pigs. But yeah, I mean, I think there's also so many stories, and of course, like at risk of anthropomorphizing pigs, it seems like they do a lot to like save humans from certain situations. Like there was a woman that was stuck in a bog, and she had her pet pig help pull her out, and they've like saved people from burning buildings, or if their owner had a heart attack, they would try to get help. So certain things like that, like with the emotional intelligence thing, really wants me to give them a higher score with that as well. And they know how to play video games, which...
Tell me more about this. This is exactly in my specific wheelhouse.
Yeah, so there was this video game program that was initially designed for chimpanzees. So they were trying to kind of train chimps to play for little bits of food. And the chimps kind of lost interest. And so they decided to try it on pigs. And pigs ended up really being awesome at playing with a little joystick and playing video games. So I think they're like the second best animal at playing video games aside from humans.
Tell a pig to 1v1 me. Tell him to hop on Fortnite real quick and
Exactly. That's the next step. They're like talking and using AI to communicate.
Can you imagine a Twitch stream that was just like a pig? It's pigs playing video games, and then you could like stream their screen so you can see what they're doing on the game.
Give them snacks, Pay for little snacks.
I'm just saying, if anyone out there has a pig and a video game set up, there's an opportunity out there for you. You could be the first pig Twitch streamer.
Oh yeah, that pig would be living large. Oh yeah.
I also like the idea that the scientists were like, oh, well, the chimpanzees didn't like it, so what other animals we got laying around here?
Yeah, we got some pigs here in the backyard,
Try the pigs.
They're so food motivated. Like, I feel like they could be taught to do a lot of things, like, through that, Like, there was also another test where they were able to recognize hidden food in a mirror. And so that's kind of like they think in a way that pigs can pass the self-recognition test in a mirror because of that. So they could they're like, look, I always like crack up some imagining how the test went down, where they're like looking in the mirror and they see someone like hide like a snack behind a pillow and they're like, yes. And it's just so cool to think of like what's going on internally in their minds.
Yeah, that would like imply to me that they could like understand that they were looking at like a flipped perspective, and then like understand that, yes, while what I'm looking at is in front of me, I understand that it's actually behind me, and figure that out. Like, my dog could not do that. If you gave her 1,000,000 years, she couldn't do it.
I've always tried to do that test with my dog, Pistachio, where I'd hide a treat under a bowl, and I'm like, which one is it? Like, even pointing at it, too, he's just like, what?
Nope. Nothing.
Nope.
Nothing going on in there.
Pigs got it down. Pigs got it down.
Pigs immediately, like, I know what's up. I know what's going on. And I've seen a lot of, like, videos on YouTube of people that do have pet pigs where they, like, train them to do... I think there was, like, a really famous video of a pig, like, playing basketball. Yeah. Right? Pigs are so, like... good at figuring out little stuff like that, which like you'd think that would translate into them being like, I don't know. I feel like we have dogs, which are incredibly intelligent, and we use them for a wide variety of jobs, right? Like we have working dogs that do any number of things. Like I feel like there's a missed opportunity here. I feel like pigs could be that, right?
Well, because they're really good at sniffing out like gunpowder or mines or certain other things, so they can definitely be used for a lot of the jobs that dogs are used for. But I almost wonder if it's more of like it could be like a stubborn thing or an emotional thing with pigs, you know? Because dogs are like, I'm happy, I'm down to do it. And I think maybe pigs can kind of like outsmart us in that way and be like, look, I don't think this treat you're giving me is fair. So maybe.
Maybe the pigs are going to unionize.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They're learning. They're growing. They have a whole.
They know their worth.
Take over the world anyway. I've seen, it's so crazy because I've also seen like certain videos where pigs can like spell out certain words with blocks or like
that's cool.
do things that you wouldn't think were possible. I think they've like been able to like do certain things that dogs do, like when they see their owner in distress, they can get the phone for them, or they can like do certain things. So I mean, I think pigs can do a lot of things that dogs can do, but maybe they're not as agile.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, with a dog, they can like jump over things, and you know they have a lot of like dexterity and range of movement. But I think pigs are a little limited. I don't think they can jump.
No, not as high. Surely not as high. So.
You know what? I've heard this rumor. I don't know where I keep hearing this. I'm pretty sure it's just like some random little like myth floating around on the internet that like pigs can't look up. Have you heard this?
I haven't heard that. I've heard that turkeys, when they look up, they drown. But
yeah, they surely don't do that.
No. Yeah, exactly. No, I haven't heard anything with pigs not being able to look up.
There's this whole thing that like people say that pigs can't look up, and I think it was probably like a Tumblr post or something where someone was talking about like picking up their pig and holding it up so that they could see the sky for the first time. And
it's like, oh my gosh, what the heck is that?
But like they can look up, they just can't look like directly up, like 90 degrees up at the sky, right? But people were like holding their pigs up so that they could see the sky for the first time.
It's like cue some like emotional like inner turmoil. They're like, oh my gosh, the world is so much bigger than I thought it was. And so that's
existential crisis immediately.
Exactly. That's when the next step of evolution happens in pigs, and they ask, why? Why is the sky blue?
This is their ascent.
Exactly.
I was thinking about how, like, if we did use pigs for more jobs, you know how, like, with dogs, when you have a purpose, like a purpose-bred dog, like they're bred for a thing, it changes their body. They have to, like, adapt their body to that. Like, what if we did that with pigs? If we had, like, tactical pigs?
Well, they actually have used pigs in wartime. Way back when, they used to use them to unleash, because certain armies would use elephants to try to intimidate the Romans, I believe. And so they would use pigs and like unleash them on these elephants, and they would scare the elephants. They would help out. I think they helped Alexander the Great win like a few wars that way.
That's amazing. That is truly military strategy, galaxy brain move. Absolutely, like, let's just scare the elephants with pigs.
Yeah, and pigs could, wreak havoc on, and everyone's like, what the heck is happening? And then distract everybody. And so they have been used, for different, like, I wonder if those pigs were kind of like more agile or more like able to work in combat.
They got the attack mode pigs.
Those are the ones like the big tusks where they can like ram into people.
The last category that we rate animals on is aesthetics. It's just how nice is this animal to look at. And I know some people go either way on this one, so I truly don't know for sure. I mean, I can kind of read where I think you're going to land on this one, but people can go either way on it. What do you give pigs out of 10 for aesthetics?
Well, it depends. I think pigs are so darn cute. I mean, that's why there was a whole pig craze. That's why I was initially attracted to the little pig. But they get pretty intimidating when they get bigger. But I still would want to rate them probably around like a 7. Yeah, they're up there for me.
You know what I think would really bump them up a little bit? If they were fluffy. I would love that.
If they had like little curly, like, I think I did see a breed of pig that had like longish curly hair.
I'm Googling long-haired pig to see what I can find. I did see a long-haired curly pig, and I take it back. I don't wish they were fluffy. I'm changing my mind. I'm making an immediate 180 on the fluffy pigs. It's not my favorite.
It's funny because you think, like a pig half sheep would be so adorable. And then you look it up and you're like, it's kind of terrifying. But the little hairdos are kind of cute. Like their ears have these curls.
I can't see it without immediately having that thing in my brain that's like, that's got to be so dirty. Like,
Oh, yeah.
an animal that spends so much time like laying in the mud and like rooting around in the dirt and wallowing and stuff, like immediately I'm like, oh nope, I can see exactly why they're not like this.
They shouldn't be hairy. Now I can see how domesticated pigs have evolved to be so hairless. Oh, but I love the little hairy pigs, like the potbelly pigs that have like the spots and everything like that. They're just so adorable, and their noses, and I don't know. I'm like a huge pig fan.
This actually, I just was reminded because I saw one of these pictures is of the kune kune pig, and it reminded me of my favorite thing in the world, which is those beach pigs that like...
Yeah.
Where is that? That's like an island
Bahamas.
Somewhere. The Bahamas, yes!
Oh my gosh, the swimming pigs of the Bahamas. They're... Well, the crazy thing, did you ever look about like how those pigs got there? I think it's like a huge mystery.
No, I have no idea. It's one of those things that I keep seeing on my like For You page on TikTok.
Right.
And every time I'm like, oh, I wish that was me.
No, me too. That's like one of the places I definitely want to visit. But I think that how they got onto that island is that Spanish conquistadors, like back in the day, would just bring pigs with them on ships and like leave them on islands, like mating pairs on islands to hopefully breed and be able to create colonies. So when they went through those islands again, they can like restock their ships because the pig could just be so fine just living on its own without humans to watch over it.
That is extremely Spanish behavior. You should be fine. I'll leave them here. Surely this isn't going to affect anything. I'll come back for this later.
Yeah, and they just happened to forget about the pigs in the Bahamas, and the pigs were like, sweet, now I'm going to be adapting to an island life and just living in the waves.
Good for them. Honestly, this has to be like winning the sort of like birth lottery. Like being born as a pig living in the Bahamas, that has to be the ultimate role. You spawned into the world on easy mode.
Oh yeah. I think there was like a Bachelor episode way back in the day where they visited the swimming pigs in the Bahamas, and they said they were really aggressive. Like they would like come up and try to like get the food from you, and they were like, they weren't messing around. Like they learned how to take advantage of tourists for sure.
I mean, yeah, right? That's free food right there.
Exactly.
And they're easily bullied.
Yeah, it's like don't tempt me with like a cracker and like not give it to me right away. Like no patience for a photo, you know?
And people are probably feeding them 24/7. Like people are probably always feeding them. So those pigs are like,
large. They're living well. They probably have like pineapple, coconuts every day, laying in the beach.
It is also like as adorable and the most incredible, immaculate vibe I've ever seen in my life. I'm also extremely impressed that pigs can just get in the water and like that they don't immediately sink. They seem so like dense, right?
Really good swimmers.
You'd think they'd just sink right to the bottom.
No, but they're actually really good swimmers, like surprisingly good swimmers. And that was one of the theories as well, with how the pigs got to the islands is like, swimming there. And I was like maybe like shipwrecks, like being able to swim to the island from a shipwreck. So I feel like they'd be able to make their way.
Listen, it's not outside the realm of possibility because there's the babi rusa, which is the type of pig that lives in Indonesia, and they swim between islands all the time. So it's not impossible.
No, it's not impossible. It's in their blood. It's in their blood.
Yeah, I think these are just the cutest little things. And I don't think it's one of those things where like with puppies and like kittens and stuff, like they evolved alongside humans and like humans shaped them to our will. And so like we made them cuter over time, because I almost feel like for pigs, it's like it would be a disadvantage for us if we made them cuter, because that would make us not want to eat them. Although if the pig's cute enough and we don't want to eat them, then that's going to let them survive. So I don't know, maybe that's an adaptation.
That's true. Maybe there'll be like kind of two different breeds of pigs. It's like the pet pig that kind of breeds into the more like cutesy puppy dog, big eye kind of thing. And then the ones we eat, which are just like little meat factories. That's kind of like how I feel like they have been bred, because they can get ginormous.
Yeah, to their detriment to a point where like it gets to a point where they wouldn't be able to survive outside of like a farm.
No, and that's the unfortunate thing about a lot of domesticated animals, is that they're kind of like, they're bred so big that they can't really move around much.
Yeah, it does get to the point where like it impacts their physiology. I know that recently there's been a push for people to change like breeding standards for pugs, because pugs, like their faces are so scrunched up that it makes them not able to breathe. And so they have just a whole host of respiratory problems. And now there's this push to bring back what they call retro pugs, where like they're going back to older breed standards to like make the nose longer, give them a little more like breathing room. I like that.
I love that idea because I feel like so many dogs, like pugs or bulldogs, they're born like 70 years old. You know, they can't breathe, they can't move around a lot. They're like, their cracks get infected. I used to babysit my friend's Frenchie, and I used to freak out in the middle of the night because I would hear it stop breathing for 2 seconds, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, please don't die on me.
Right, yeah. And I almost feel you see that kind of happen with any sort of domesticated like livestock animals, especially, right? We're not necessarily breeding them with their own well-being in mind. It's more for like, well, what's gonna yield the most product for us.
Right. Oh yeah, with chickens, like they breed them basically without any bones, so they're like non-moving little blobs.
But with pigs, I think that like, especially because you go to like a county fair or something like that, and you see those big, I mean like giant half-ton animals just laying in the mud, and you're like, that can't be right.
How do you move that pig from fair to fair is what I want to know.
They gotta get a forklift or something. I know they're trucking these things around.
Yeah, I wonder what the world's biggest pig is.
Hold on. Let's find out. Oh my god. I don't care for that.
Big Bill, the world record for the heaviest pig so far is held by Big Bill, owned by Elisa Buford. It was a Poland-China breed of hog that tipped the scales at 2,552 pounds.
Oof.
That's ginormous.
I think that's too much pig.
It's too much pig. Wow, it looks like a small hippo. It literally looks like a small hippo.
They are giving hippo, I think, a little bit. You know what I did want to ask you? I want to ask you how you felt about Charlotte's Web. About the movie Charlotte's Web. Was that something that factored into your childhood?
I definitely remember Charlotte's Web, and I think about that movie surprisingly often in a weird way. I don't know why, but I think there was something that had to do with saving the runt or saving the little pig and then being able to have it, I don't know, turn into like an excellent pig or such a great pig.
That was my jam. I rewatched it with my own kids as an adult, and I was like, this holds up pretty decent. It's pretty good. It's one of those like timeless ones that I felt like a lot of times you have nostalgia goggles on and you'll revisit your like favorite movies as an adult and you'll be like, this is not it. But I feel like Charlotte's Web held up pretty well. Do you have a favorite pig in media, like a favorite cartoon pig or fictional pig?
I really think of Babe the pig a lot. I think it was like Babe in the Big Sea, or was he in Italy or something like that? I used to watch those movies all the time, and I remember the part of the movie where the evil bully dog was drowning, and he saved him, like with the boat.
Incredibly realistic depiction of pigs.
Yeah, and I just was like, that was definitely one of my favorite pig movies. I think it's called, is it Babe in the Big City? Or
watching Babe, was one of my like hyperfixation movies as a kid, and then it was one of those ones I revisited as an adult, and it gutted me, absolutely destroyed. I was like sobbing the whole movie. The whole thing is so emotional, and I was like, oh my god.
I need to see that again because I remember it being like a lot of the scenes in there were very almost not traumatic, but they really gave me a lot of feelings that I never felt when I was younger, you know?
It's incredibly evocative.
Saving the dog like really like hit me for, I was like, even though the dog was mean, he was good to him. So
such a fun, I loved that. I loved Babe. That was one of my favorite. And maybe that's where like what was laying the groundwork for me, right? Like maybe Babe got in there, and Charlotte's Web also, like both, I think, cases of a movie where like a pig is underestimated and then like becomes to serve a much greater purpose. And maybe that's where some of my feelings about pigs are coming from.
Yeah, they're good in the heart, you know?
Well, Kendall, I would love it if before we get wrapped up for today, if you could let our friends listening know where they can find you and hear more of your voice. I'd love for you to talk about little curiosities and where else people can go after this.
Yes, so I have a podcast where I talk about things that spark my curiosity. It's called Little Curiosities, and I talk a lot about different animals and things like why are things green. And I do have an episode on pigs, which is, of course, why I love pigs so much. I had to have an episode on that. And then other than that, I put a lot of animal videos and science videos on my Instagram. It's Kendall Long, and TikTok as well.
Perfect. And I'll have links to everything in the episode description. So anybody listening to this can just scroll down, click through all those links and find them. You could go check it out. If you're listening to this podcast, you can just look it up on the whatever you're using to listen to this. So I highly, highly, highly recommend it because your videos are so cute and like passionate and like peppy and energetic and also like very heartfelt. Like, you know, I feel like a lot of times that enthusiasm is very contagious. When you feel a lot of the passion coming through, you get excited about, even if it's something you weren't excited about before, you didn't think you were going to get excited about. Like you could, maybe you're not the type of person who normally gets very excited about pigs or pigeons or moths, but like once you start to be like, okay, well, you know what? I'm feeling it. I'm catching the vibe a little bit.
Yes. That's the thing. It's like, I feel like teaching people about things that fascinate me so much and like getting other people's reactions. And that's what I love doing so much because I feel like it's a way to really kind of connect with like the curiosity of things like in the world. So
for sure. Well, thank you for sharing your curiosity and your enthusiasm and knowledge with us today. It has been so much fun. Thank you so much for spending this time with us today. We will talk to you later. Bye.
Bye. Thank you for having me.
Thank you all so much for listening. I hope that pigs have won you over just as well as they won wars for Alexander the Great. If you liked what you heard today, I hope you leave behind some kind words for us in a review on your podcast app of choice. We read them all the time. They make us really happy and keep us motivated. They really mean a lot to us, so thank you. If you want to hang out with us online, we're on Facebook, Instagram, Discord, and TikTok. Links to everything will be in the episode description below. You can send me an email at ellen@justthezoofus.com if you have a cool animal you'd like to hear us talk about on the show. We'd like to thank Maximum Fun for having us on their network alongside their other wonderful shows like the ones that you heard promos for here today. You can check those out and learn more about the network and how you can be a part of supporting our show over at MaximumFun.org. Finally, we would like to thank Louis Zong for our theme music. That's all for today. We'll see you next week. Thanks. Bye.
Maximum Fun,
a worker-owned network
of artist-owned shows.
Supported
directly
by you.